Which Raptors head coach has the best rant? Which opponent has given the Raptors their biggest diss? What's the funniest moment in commentary? That's all on today's Locked On Raptors.
You are Locked On Raptors, your daily Toronto Raptors podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
It's your favorite part of the day. Thanks for making Locked On Raptors your first listen every day. I'm Vivek Jacob. I've been covering the Toronto Raptors for 8 seasons across several outlets. You can follow Locked On Raptors on X, Blue Sky, Instagram, and YouTube. And be sure to check out the Locked On Raptors Discord, where you can talk all things basketball, but especially the Raptors. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can get $150 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. It is Thursday, July the 24th, and I am joined by the host of Buckets and Tea over at Raptors Republic. It's the one and only Cathryn Naiker. How are you doing?
Good. Thanks for having me. This is exciting. Deep July, deep off-season podcast, keeping it, we're just holding it down for all the Raptors fans out here. Bobby Webster's somewhere on vacation. Who knows where he is right now, but we're here. We're still talking about this team. Love it.
Well, I hope he's not vacationing. I hope he's interviewing for the president role.
Maybe I take it back. Maybe he's just deep in the interview process. Who knows?
Yeah, maybe
maybe he had to cancel vacation plans.
Maybe.
Who knows?
So we've had a lot of summer league talk. We had some president speculation talk recently, and I wanted to just have a true summer pod where we just go off on random things and, have sort of a timeless summer classic. And I think we can have a fun one today. We're going to look at some of the best, funniest moments that have happened with the Raptors. And to start us off, I thought, what better than the best Raptors head coach rant?
Ooh.
I think we've had some epic ones over the years, but I narrowed it down to 3. I think it's got to be between Sam Mitchell's 000, Dwayne Casey's, we go back to Canada, just going off on the refs, and then, of course, more recent, Darko Rajakovic going off after a Lakers game and letting the world know that Scotty Barnes is going to be the face of the NBA.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the 3 for me. So I'm gonna give you the quote on the Sam Mitchell 000. We got to find some men who want to play basketball. And for the ones who don't want to play, do everybody a favor. Quit. They know who they are, because I've told them. They need to quit. It's embarrassing. We have guys in there that had stat lines 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. I mean,
well done.
So this was pretty much a direct shot at Jerome Moiso at the time.
Okay.
And, I imagine a few others as well, but Moiso, specifically, when you look at that box score, was the one who had a 0, 0, 0, 0 line.
Yeah, I mean, you know what? This was the post Vince Carter era, and frankly, who didn't quit at that point? Sam Mitchell. There's a few people left standing. I mean, even I, as a fan, I remember just being so upset post Vince era that I don't think I watched much basketball for the following 2 years or something. And then we were kind of in a new era with Bosh and Calderon and stuff like that. But yeah, this is such a fun rant. I think it's very indicative of the era and just how bleak everything was, that you could just tell players they should go home and just kind of get away with it. I feel like it still sort of flew under the radar. So this is an all-timer for me. I'm not saying it's number 1, but it's definitely an all-timer. Great pick.
Okay. So Dwayne Casey, I actually feel, is kind of an underrated one because it We the North hadn't hit full swing yet. This was still when they were bad, and he's pounding the rock and trying to get this team, a culture and an identity. And if I remember correctly, it was a game in Atlanta, and the Raptors pretty much got jobbed at the end. And so this was his quote. I'm tired of this. I'm tired of losing games because of missed calls at the end of the game. And I know the league's going to come down on me, but I don't care. These guys have fought their hearts out, played their hearts out. And at the end of the game, we get cracked an apology and we go back home to Canada. I've been in this league 18 years and I've never seen as many missed calls at the end of the game that cost us the game. We've got great officials in this league. We have good officials and too good to miss calls and shortchange these young men like that. It's not right. It's not right for the guys to play their hearts out and then come up on a missed call at the end of the game. I wouldn't just say it. I've watched the replay 3-4 times over and over, hoping that they missed it, but they didn't.
Well done, Dwayne Casey. I mean, you're right. This is like, it's pre We the North. I feel like the We the North year, like the year that debuted, that was when we also got Dwayne Casey on the subway coming to the game. I feel like that was like really like peak Dwayne Casey. He's still coming into his own at this point. I personally, just in terms of ranking a rant, and first of all, great job with the read. Now I feel like I want to see like Vivek Jacobs like monologues now, like just basketball monologues. I feel like that's what I'm going to be campaigning for now. But I feel like this rant, it's still like politically correct. He's still like holding back a bit. He's still like,
you got to remember, this is 2013.
Yes, I know. But he's still like, we've got great refs in this league. Like he's still like, he's trying not to get that fine. He's trying not to piss off too many people. So it's well done, but it's still like a little too proper. In this
Casey's never going to go all the way there, right?
Yeah.
Like it's
in
Casey.
This silly ranking of rants, it's just a little too proper, I think.
Fair enough. Well, getting away from any of the proper, I think Darko Rajakovic takes the cake. So here's the next monologue. There we go. Thank you, Doug. That's outrageous. What happened tonight? This is completely BS. This is shame. Shame for the referees, shame for the league to allow this. 23 free throws for them, and we get 2 free throws in the fourth quarter. Like, how to play the game. I understand respect for all-stars and all that, but we have all-stars on our team as well. How is it possible that Scotty Barnes, who is all-star caliber player in this league, he goes every single time to the rim with force and trying to get to the rim without flopping, without trying to get foul calls? He gets 2 free throws for the whole game. How is that possible? How are you going to explain that to me? They had to win tonight? If that's the case, just let us know so we don't show up for the game. Just give them a win. That was not fair tonight. This is not happening for the first time for us. Scotty Barnes is going to be an all-star. He's going to be the face of this league. And what's happening here during the whole season, I've been holding it back. It's complete crap. He also made a face at the end.
Yeah, his face.
He was
like his like nose kind of like I don't know, like it scrunches up in a way that like I felt like I'd never seen before. I remember talking about like angry Darko being almost like its own persona. Like it was such a transformation. But this for me is easily my favorite rant because it's really off the cuff. I love how he's like, "Thank you, Doug." Like he's like so happy to receive some validation.
Like, thank you for bringing this up. I would love to touch on this topic.
And then he just screams shame. Like it's like you could just cut to like Game of Thrones where they're all just like shame.
Yeah, I wish he had a bell.
If only someone had a bell. That would be very iconic if he had a bell. But anyway, this is easily number one. I remember like ESPN, like First Take and all these people were like, took this and ran with it and were debating about whether Scotty Barnes could ever become the face of the league or not. And it's like, they really missed the point. You know, I mean,
Yeah.
they'll take things and run with it for the sake of their own content, and I get that. But they really missed the point. The point was him sticking up for his team and sticking up for his player, which is what a
Hmm.
coach is supposed to do. So I love this rant because it's angry. It feels visceral to me. It feels, spontaneous, I want to say. I mean, maybe it wasn't spontaneous. Maybe he actually like took a breath and gave it some thought and was like, no, I'm going to do this anyway. But it's also like pro team. You know what I mean? It's pro the team. It's sticking up for the team. You're not calling anyone out. You're not, you know what I mean? I mean, you're calling the refs out, but you're doing it in a way that's like, my team is here and I love my team. I don't know. He didn't care about the fine. Maybe that's a new era thing, but this was his first year, no? This rant? Or was it his second year?
This was his first year.
Yeah.
Because the
Yes.
year we just had was his second.
Yes, that's right. So I mean, this is ballsy to do when you're a first year head coach, to be like, I'm not going to care about the fine and I'm just going to do this. Bravo.
Yeah.
Bravo. Love you,
No,
Darko.
the Serbia in him definitely came out. Like that was full Balkan rage.
Yeah, that was full Balkan rage. No holding it back. And I don't remember the fine around this. He must have gotten something. I don't remember. But I mean, it was just a glorious moment for this team. And like, I think I love him defending Scotty. Scotty is absolutely an all-star. He's arguably both an Eastern and Western all-star.
It was 25,000, by the way. The fine was
25,000. Yeah, because I mean, there's a lot of players.
I hope Scotty paid that.
Well, I hope somebody else paid it. I mean, I'm sure the team took care of it, But yeah, this is an epic all-timer, and hopefully for us, Scotty Barnes does become the face of the league. That would be absolutely incredible.
That would be amazing.
I don't foresee it.
I was just gonna say
I don't foresee it. I'm not crazy, but he's absolutely an all-star player, no question.
Yeah. So we have a clear-cut number one here. How we splitting the hairs between 2 and 3?
Sam Mitchell's number 2 for me.
Okay.
Because it's just such a beautiful way to summarize maybe the bleakest era in our franchise's history. Hopefully it never gets more bleak than that. Sam Mitchell's number 2 for me, and then Dwayne Casey's number 3. But Dwayne Casey, you're always a Raptors legend. Don't worry about it.
There we go. Coming up next, we are going to get into the biggest diss an opponent has made towards the Raptors. Summer sports are in full swing, and whether you're all about baseball under the lights, golf on the green, or high-stakes soccer action, FanDuel is the best way to make every game even more exciting. You're already following the action. Why not make it a little more thrilling? With FanDuel, you can get in on the game while your friends are getting sunburned at the beach. Whether I'm placing a same-game parlay or watching a bet ride into the 9th inning, FanDuel makes it feel like I'm part of the action. New to FanDuel, new customers can bet just $5 and get $150 back in bonus bets if your first bet wins. Open the FanDuel app today or visit FanDuel.com to get started. And we are back, Cathryn. Up next, we are going to get into the worst Raptors diss by an opponent. There's really just 2 main candidates here.
Not too many people have bothered to diss this team, I guess.
But, when you think about the extent of the damage done within the Raptors fan base, I think it really comes down to these 2.
Well, yeah, because it's an interesting category because it's by an opponent.
Yeah,
and because maybe another day, maybe deep in August or something, you could have a category that is like worst disses from players who got traded to this team.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of people who have played in Toronto or were traded and then immediately demanded to be traded out, who diss
or even after they finished playing. where,
Yes.
like
Yeah,
even Thad Young
yeah,
after
like
he was done
well
was like,
after. Like I think like Rudy Gay went off about like customs or whatever.
yeah,
Like yeah, that's its own category for a future day. But
yeah,
actual opponents dissing the team,
yeah.
few.
So, you know, LeBron has had a few, um, but I decided to go with 2017 game one. He drives to the basket, gets fouled by Serge Ibaka, and then as he is, regaining his balance and making his way along the baseline, there's someone with, the whole stack of beers, and he grabs one, fake sips it, and then gets back to the free throw line. And that was, especially when you think back to the year before. So he was very complimentary at the end of the series where, the Raptors fans go wild
So you
and,
hear
they're
these
showing,
fans, all that.
yeah, and it's like all love there. But he did also diss the Raptors during that series when it got to 2-2, and he was asked about, how he feels about the series and, just the overall tension of being at 2-2, and his response was, I've been in adverse situations before, this is not one of them.
Yes.
So that to me was pretty disrespectful, and then obviously they just blew out the Raptors in the next two games and moved on, and then here we are, game one, he's fake sipping a beer, he's spinning the basketball in Serge Ibaka's face before knocking down. This was when he just kind of went like full villain against the Raptors. And obviously, the year after that was probably the worst of it in terms of how Raptors fans felt with, feeling like that was the best opportunity and then getting swept anyway. But
Right.
do you remember what your exact thoughts were when you saw him fake sip the beer?
I mean, here's the thing. Like I love the I've been in adverse situations. This is not one of them quote. Even though I'm a Raptors fan, I'm like, man, that's such a good quote. And he proved, and then he went on to prove it. He went on to
Yeah.
prove that it was in fact not an adverse situation for him. This is like, and in like rewatching this clip, like the score was like we were down by like 18 points or something like that, like close to 20 points. This is how much he just did not take the Raptors seriously. And
Yeah.
it's just proof of that. Like it's not just the beer thing, like, oh haha, it's like the subtext of it.
Yeah.
Of like, this is how much I don't take you seriously. And I'm treating this very important playoff game like it's a regular season game in January.
Yeah.
And so that's why it hurts. That's why he was LeBronto.
Also, like, he's never come out and said it, but I feel like there was always something extra for him going up against Dwayne Casey, because Dwayne Casey was the assistant coach in Dallas when Dallas upset Miami, and Casey was the one who was credited with the defensive schemes and the whole, like, we're gonna put JJ Barea and LeBron, and we're gonna put all these guys on LeBron, and we're just gonna let him settle for these outside shots. We're gonna protect the paint, and his game wasn't at a point where he could really punish that. And I feel like that was an interesting inflection point in LeBron's career, where he didn't want those weaknesses exposed anymore, and he became a better player for it. And I feel like every time he went up against Casey after that was like, look at me now.
I love this theory because I think LeBron is the type of player, and I think there's evidence of this as well, where he looks for motivation everywhere. So if you give him like the tiniest bit of fuel, he will take it and run with it, and he thrives on that. So yes, I absolutely think there could be some truth to that. Well done, Vivek.
Oh, thank you very much.
I haven't heard someone else talk about this.
Now, contesting LeBron in this category is Paul Pierce.
Always contesting LeBron. Paul Pierce.
Now, Pierce has had his moments with the Celtics against the Raptors, and obviously had his rivalry with Vince, and then down the line. But where it really came to a head was beating the Raptors in 7 games with the Brooklyn Nets, and then he moves on to the Washington Wizards, and he disses the Raptors by saying that they don't have it.
Right.
Masai tries to come back with a whole "we don't give a bleep about it." Doesn't play out too well. The Raptors get swept. Paul Pierce hits a whole bunch of shots, big shots, and is having his fun with it the whole way through. And at the end of the series, on social media, he posts a picture of him photoshopped onto the Game of Thrones throne, as if he is the king of the North.
Personally, I'm very unimpressed by this because it's like you're the Wizards. This is the most irrelevant playoff series, arguably, of the decade. I'm sorry, but it just is. This is like, I mean, especially from the Wizards' perspective, because from the Wizards' perspective, they don't come back as like that team, right? They're never there again. At least for the Raptors, you could argue like this was a stepping stone.
Yeah.
Right. But I think it's just really like petty and silly, and just frankly an attempt to cling to relevancy at the last stage of your career. For Paul, like after this, I think he goes to the Clippers and then it's done. So I just, it's like, okay, cute. But this was one, like, this was the one thing I didn't remember happening.
Oh,
I just, I think it's real. It's such a 2010s, like early 2010s moment though, which I kind of love. But no, this is so irrelevant. This means nothing to me.
Interesting. Because I kind of go the other way, because
you were like, I'll get you one day, Paul Pierce. One day I'm going to host Locked On and we're going to talk about it.
I'm almost more offended by the fact that a washed up Paul Pierce owned the Raptors. Like, it's one thing when it's the best player in the league, arguably the GOAT, dissing you and doing whatever he wants, and it's like there's nothing you can do about it, and it's like, okay, well, it's LeBron James. Like, there's a lot of people that can't do anything about this. The fact that it was a washed up Paul Pierce still able to be like, yeah, you can't touch me, you don't have it, and I can still knock shots down at at the buzzer, at the shot clock buzzer, or whatever it is, and I can still be more of a playoff performer than whatever you've got on your roster right now. That was the part that for me was like, man, I can't believe we are getting destroyed. It was like kind of that YMCA vibe where it's like you're coming in as a young guy having fun, and then it's like this 45-year-old dad just giving you buckets, and there's nothing you can do. Except now he's also, but usually the 45-year-old dads are just keeping quiet and going about their business. This guy was like letting you know about it.
But then imagine that's that 45-year-old dad's last game. You know what I mean? And then you feel a bit better about it. It's his last. I don't know if it was his last playoff game. I don't think not quite, but it would have been his last bigger playoff performance for sure. I don't think he put up big numbers with the Clippers. Off the top of my head, but yeah, I mean, I see what you're saying. I get it, but for me, I'm like, no, this is a level of I'm above this. They go low, we go high.
I like it.
But the LeBron one hurt. For me, the LeBron one hurt. Sound off in the comments, everyone. Let us know. Let us know where your feelings lie.
To finish up, we're gonna definitely get back into the fun stuff and some of the best commentary moments that we've seen from the Raptors. broadcast. Back at it, and here to wrap up, we have some of the best commentary moments in Raptors history. I'm sure everyone has their picks, so if you've got something that isn't included on here, be sure to send it in. I've narrowed it down to 3. Jack Armstrong, Mr. Ron Burgundy, Ron Jeremy, sending Matt Devlin into an absolute fit of laughter.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, this being like mid-pandemic with like no fans and like just madness is almost adds to it. And,
Agreed.
and Devlin just doesn't know where to go, so he's just laughing through it all.
Yep.
And then they finally get back on track. That's such a classic. Matt Devlin and his whole Wale confrontation. That's another one where initially, like, they're just commentating, and I guess with the way it's set up for media in Washington, they're not courtside. And I guess Matt Devlin had no idea who Wale was, and there was kind of this back and forth that happened between Wale and Rudy Gay. And then, you know, Devlin and Leo Routens are kind of having fun with it, where they're just like, okay, we don't really know who this rapper is. He's no Drake or anything like that. And then I guess Wale somehow catches wind of it. And at the end of the game, Wale goes to confront them. And Matt Devlin
was probably on Twitter. I bet someone tweeted it, and then he was like, probably like looking at himself, like his own mentions, and then was like, "Wow."
But the funniest part of this is that Devlin thinks initially that Wale is just like coming to say hi, and it's like, "Oh, maybe we can get him on the broadcast." And then Wale is just like barking at them,
and then he's just like, "There he is."
Yeah. And so he's having to calm that situation. Matt Devlin, by the way, an expert under pressure, as we saw at the parade as well.
Yeah. I could that's a real sidebar I could get into, but nonetheless.
And then the last one I have is an all-time classic, maybe my favorite, where the Raptors. This is back when the Raptors would have the odd Sunday game on CBC, and this was a game that was also being broadcast in Punjabi, and I guess Devlin got a little mixed up with his words because he was trying to, obviously give them a shout out, but he was also doing the play-by-play. And Peja Stojakovic hits a 3, and I think he wanted to say Peja, but then he just said Punjabi.
Imagine, like, his name's Punjabi, and he's just like, Punjabi! And then he tried to, like, play it off. Like, oh, I'm good friends with them. I can give them a shout out.
Leo wasn't letting him get away with it.
Leo was like, no, you did that.
So those are the three that I have.
These are all Matt Devlin. Like, I feel like Matt Devlin's been with us so long, you can't even call it a Matt Devlin era, right? Because now he has spanned across multiple Raptor eras.
Yeah.
And we love Matt. But so this is cool. Maybe shout out to Chuck Swirsky. I'm sure he had some great quotes. Not that I can remember, except for onions,
Yeah, I do remember this one time Chuck Swirsky. I think one of the Raptors players got hit, and it was like a bit of a cut, and there was some blood. And then Chuck Swirsky was like, "He is bleeding profusely," and then Leo was just like, "Profusely." And then there was a whole back and forth about that.
Like, we have different ideas of profusely. That's actually really funny. Leo's like, come on, Chuck, be a man. Let the man bleed a little. These are all so great. I love Matt. I have to admit, watching, okay, like, and you know, I'm not really like a hip hop head, right? So everybody listening, like, forgive me, okay? I'm really more of like a pop R&B girly. I also did not know who Wale was. Like, I had not heard of Wale either. You know, so like I'm watching this and I'm just like, okay, like I don't know. I mean, I'm sure I'm not his demographic. You know what I mean? Like whatever. But yeah, like
By the way,
yeah.
when they're talking about Wale and how little they know about him, Leo has this corny diss where he's like, your name's Wale? You must like Canada, eh?
Eh? Yeah, it's so cheesy. I mean, it's good for like a, you know, family friendly broadcast cheesy joke, like that kind of thing. Like it works, but it's such a cheesy joke. Like but to me, it's like when I haven't heard of an artist, I never act like I'm the cool one. See, this is where I feel like it gets weird for them because they're trying to be like, well, I haven't heard of him. He's no Drake. I'm cool. He isn't cool because he's not on my radar. Ha ha ha. Where like I'm self-aware enough to know that I'm the one who isn't cool when I haven't heard of someone that's relevant. So, you know, they take a slight L for that, I think, but it's funny how quickly the whole thing escalated because you really don't expect it. You really don't expect it to go there.
You don't expect to see a rapper go up into the stands and
just yell at Matt
a commentary.
So that's really great. I think personally, my favorite, the one that gave me the most giggles, was the Ron Jeremy one. Like, I think this one is just an all-time epic. To me, this is also just like peak job security. You know what I mean? Because like Jack like lets out a Ron Jeremy. He doesn't realize instead of Ron Burgundy, he doesn't even know what he said. At one point, he says, "Is it Ron Howard?" Like he doesn't know. He's just shouting out famous Rons at this point. And then Matt Devlin just completely loses it. He can't regain himself. The game's a blowout anyway, right? It's a blowout. It's a regular season game. It's the pandemic. There's no crowd, and he just cannot recompose himself. And it's like if you're worried about your job security, you regain a bit faster. I think, you know what I mean? But this is peak job security to me. And I love them and I want them to be with us forever. And this is definitely like, this one gave me the most giggles for sure.
Yeah. I mean, it was so amazing when it happened. And for me, though, it is actually close. Like the staying power of that Punjabi is just like like we're talking about Raptors CBC era, and we're still talking about it.
Such a funny. It's
just and
can you act it out for us? Because I did a half decent act out, but I feel like the listeners deserve another act out from you. Okay, Peja with the ball, he shoots.
Punjabi. As Peja drills the three.
Well done. I agree. It's so good. They're both good slips.
I think we're going to wrap it up there. Cathryn, thanks so much for joining me. Let the people know where they can find your work.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you, everyone. Appreciate you all. You can find me at Buckets and Tea NBA show on Raptors Republic as well this summer. You know, I'm covering the W. You can find me at the Pickup WNBA podcast that comes out every week on Thursdays. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Make sure you go do all that and follow Cathryn on all her socials. Thank you for making Locked On Raptors your first listen today. For your second listen, find the Locked On NBA podcast where there is no off season. Doug, Matt, and Hayes keep you up to date on contract negotiations, rumors, and everything you need to be the most informed NBA fan. Find Locked On NBA on YouTube or wherever you listen to podcasts. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.